Hello, I am Zoe, your host for tonight's VK3TET's transmission on RTV2. Tonight, Joe will present to you the Wilkinson power divider and combiner and explain how it works. In addition, Joe will also show you a novel monolithic LDMOS 23 SEMS RF amplifier, where an identical one is used to transmit these images to you just now. So, sit back and enjoy the segment.
Thank you, Zoe, and good evening. Thought that today may be an interesting session to show you the Wilkinson power divider. So let's have a look at this. Well, what we see at the moment is a 100 ohm resistor, and if we zoom out, we will actually see the structure of the Wilkinson power divider. Let's have a look. Let's just get this in focus. And it's basically the field of view, unfortunately, in the microscope. So let's just have a look. The Wilkinson power divider is a microstrip design. Essentially, you've got one input and it is split into two. The actual splitting is very interesting, and we'll go into the theory of it in a minute, but just let's have a look at the actual tracks. This is a special dielectric printed circuit board, and you can actually see the actual tracks themselves as they do have a specific thickness, as they say. Let's get this in focus. And all of that has to be calculated in the design and layout. So very difficult to actually focus it because the depth of field, the structure of this is quite critical. So let's just have a look at the theory behind this power divider. Easiest thing is just to look up the Wikipedia page, and I'm not going to read it through, but you'll be able to at least see how the structure or the design of it. Essentially, you've got a microstrip layout, and that gives you this sort of formula: quarter wave here, quarter wave there, with a 100 ohm resistor to give you a loading of 50 ohms. Theory, if you're interested in that, it shows it to you, and because it's essentially there is isolation between the two ports while maintaining match conditions on all ports, the design can also be used as a power combiner because it's made up of passive components, and hence it's reciprocal. So essentially you can divide the signal or you can combine the two outputs. In other words, if you use P2 as an input and P3 as an input, it'll combine those two into a P1 output. So essentially, if you've got two amplifiers and you would like to get some more power, for argument's sake, you've got amplifier 1 here with 10 watts and another amplifier identical with another 10 watts, you can combine the outputs of those two amplifiers to produce a combined output. So not only can you divide, say, your 10 watts if you feed it from that end, and you get 5 watts here and 5 watts there, you can do the reverse. Very, very handy device, and obviously it's appropriate for microwave work because of the strip line design. Now, the actual module that I've got here, this one, so they say, is got a power rating of 25 watts. I find that a little bit difficult to believe. I haven't tested it because this particular resistor, it does not look like 25 watt capability. But having said that, I don't know, maybe it will handle 25 watts. We can test it. They're not very expensive. I think it costs about $4 on AliExpress delivered. So they're not expensive at all, and it's a fantastic little accessory for any microwave work that you do. So without further ramblings on by me, look it up, the Wilkinson Power Divider. It's a great little device, and you guys will find it useful. Here is a very popular little amp. As a matter of fact, you're watching this program now via the compliments of this little device. So let's have a look what's inside, okay? Just take off these screws. The old take off the screws trick. Okay, now I must admit there's a very neat layout. As a matter of fact, I'll put my money on it that this is a reference design. Let's have a look under the microscope. Okay, so what do we got here? We've got this, well, a monolithic device. Let's see if we can illuminate it just the right way. It's an M221 5B, I think it is. So we'll look that up in a minute, but let's have a look at the layout. We've got an input, and this particular version of the board seems to be very clean. They at least used some isopropyl alcohol or whatever to give it a good clean, which is very important when you're dealing with microwave stuff. So yeah, we've got a strip line sort of input. That's probably some sort of a mimic to increase the power a little bit. Power supply 78L06. We've got another device at the top there, 78L15. Well, we've got 6 volts and we've got a 15-volt supply there. And output of this device is on multiple pins, as you can see, 2, 4, 5, 6 of them. And there is a set of capacitors, I should say, that you can use for the appropriate frequencies, because it's the same design. And this particular one is for 23 cents, but there's also different versions, 900, I think it goes up all the way to 1900 or something. So yeah, it's a pretty simple design, very neat little layout. You can see there's been a lot of thought going into the PCB because it's got lots of wires there for the ground, and it comes in a sort of a, I think it's a milled case, but I think it's a cast milled case. There's a bit of dirt there, but yeah, that's what it is. So let's have a look at this this device and see what it's got. Well, this essentially is a PDF downloaded from the internet. Obviously, you guys can download your own version, but yes, very interesting device. It's an RF LDMOS wideband integrated power amplifier, and I am pretty sure that this little amplifier is essentially a reference design. As you can see, yes, we've got 4, well, what is it, 6 outputs. That's the sort of block diagram of it, and it looks like quite a capable device. Anyway, you know, looking at the RF on it, when I was testing it, it is very, very clean. Let's have a look if there's a picture of a layout here. It obviously tells you how to sort of configure it for various applications. Pretty sure that there will be some sort of a printed circuit board layout. That's the actual device or the package. And oh, interesting. There is no specific layout. Maybe there is another paper that actually depicts it. But anyway, yeah, it gives you typical stages there, test circuit layouts. I'm sure that most of that's been incorporated in the actual design of this little amplifier. And it looks pretty neat. I highly recommend it. Actually, it works quite well. I'm not sure exactly the sort of power you're going to get out of it, but for DTV stuff. But if you just got a constant carrier, it definitely produces about 14 watts. I've checked that on my bench there. So it's not a bad device. I think it was at $85 delivered. For that sort of price, you can't really beat it. So for you guys, it's highly recommended. So the whole idea with the Wilkinson divider is to have two of these little amplifiers, and we can then combine them. And in theory, you know, if we're getting about 6 or 7 watts out of it, we should be able to get at least maybe 10 watts on coming out of the combiner. So yeah, really neat device. So there we go, another AliExpress find. Until we meet again.